Good morning all. Okay, this video is going to be a wedding plaque. The names inlaid on other names. As you can see, it's Hannah and Jake Sanderson, 16th April 2018. Now it's all going to be outset. So the Hannah and the 16th are going to be the same height. Sanderson maybe an eighth deeper, and then the background will probably be a 1/4 inch deep. And the border will all be outset as well. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to outline the Hannah and Jake, the 1.5mm spiral upcut. And then I'm going to, actually no, I'm going to outline everything with that, because I'm going to come back and use the V-groove on the Sanderson, so I have not just the height difference, I'm going to have an angle difference on these letters. I'm going to use my DeWalt 622. I've got the Eric Rauten style base on here. Nice and wide. It's about 8mm thick. I've put some handles on it. It's really simple, but it allows me to do the multi-layer cuts without any rocking really. When I start getting all the cutouts, I'll be able to span this side and that side, which will act like runners or beams. Okay, here we go. Alright, I'm going to speed that up a bit. Okay, so that's going pretty well. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish all the rest of these letters and come back. Alright, that's all the inset names, and the date is all being traced out. Now I'm going to come back for the larger letters, and I'm going to be using a 30-degree V-groove on that. I want to give these letters a bit more of a angle on them, and it's a bit more forgiving when I come to do the final cleanup, because it's going to have it's a pencil. So imagine that's the top of the letter. If I use the spiral, it's 90-degree, oh, it's close to 90-degree. When I use the V-groove, I've got more of a trapezoid shape. So then when I'm doing the clear out, I don't come close to the top, but I can clear out all the bottom nice and easy. Imagine that's the bit. I can get close to it, trim it if I need to, without affecting the top. I have my bit set at about 3/16. The V-groove is going to go a little bit deeper. I'll probably have to do this one twice to get the depth that I want, because I will be, even though I carve it, I'm going to lower those letters after they're all carved out, so the inset letters are more prominent. notice that with the V-groove bit, I'm much more careful to always go left to right and counterclockwise. The way the V-groove spin, if I go right to left, there's a much better chance that the V-groove will catch and go off at an angle, or if I'm going clockwise to catch and I can't follow my path quite as well. Spiral bits doesn't really matter as much. It matters a little bit, but not too much, because the flutes are much finer. V-groove, very important. Right, almost there. Give myself a nice border around there. As you can see, I haven't touched the line. That way, if when I'm cleaning up, if it's not quite right, I can come back. I've given myself a small room for error. I shall finish doing these letters and come back to you. Okay, it can be pretty easy to miss out a few little bits when you are so many different areas to carve out. So I've missed out there, there, yeah, one or two spots. So go back, touch that bit up, and then I'm going to carve the inside of the border. You see, I've freehanded that one, but I'm going to use my guides to do that. Give me a nice straight line. While I have this 1.5 millimeter bit back in, I'm going to clean out a little bit more around some of the smaller letters. Okay. So that's a lot of the finer detail taken out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to swap to my 3 millimeter spiral upcut. It's a 1/8 shank. Fits into the reducer like so. I'll just clean up that and give myself a bit more of a barrier before I change to the 1/4 inch spiral upcut. Here we go with the spiral upcut. I'm going to put that on time lapse and speed that up a bit. that is the majority of the letters all outlined. They're about 1/4 of an inch proud now. I'll need to, when I get the rest of the background out, I'll come back with the 1.5 mil spiral. I just touch up around the edges there. But now I'm going to get the rest of that cleaned out so I can start working on these ones. Alright, I've used my edge guide to give me my edge around there. I've changed to my 1/4 inch spiral upcut, and now it's time to clear the rest of this junk out. That was the first somewhat fast, messy background clear out. It's given me the depth that I wanted. We are 5 millimeters or just under 1/4 inch. Alright, so now I'm going to start the fine clean out on the areas. I'm using the 1.5 millimeter spiral upcut bit again, and then I shall go on to lowering the larger Sanderson letters. That is the majority of the fine background clear out done. The reason I do that now rather than later is once I remove these, I'm going to have a lot less workspace to balance my router base on. I'll only have these two sets of letters, and the edge. I'm much more likely to make a mistake. So I'm going to use my, probably start with the 1.5 millimeter spiral so I can get into these close areas. And I'm going to take these letters down about 2 millimeters. I'm getting to the point now where I have to turn the ruler sideways. I'm going to see if I can reposition this camera somehow. Right, so even though I'm using quite a small bit, that's still carving it quite quickly. You see I've got about a 2mm lip there. So when it's all done, these letters will stay in one color, different color, different color. Should look pretty good. Okay, now we have our 3 layers. Well, obviously the edges need a little bit of a touch-up. It's a bit rough. It's okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give everything a light sand. Smooth out these letters, smooth out the back. And I don't know if you noticed just now, I had the router, the base plate, this way as opposed to this way. If I'm this way, I don't have much of a base to be on. If I turn it so it's bisecting the angle, these 2 lines act like rails that I can rest my router on. I actually wouldn't mind having, this is an 8-inch base plate, I wouldn't mind actually having maybe a 10-inch or a 12-inch. Makes it easier to do slightly bigger signs. This one's only 7.5 inches. When they get up to 10, 12, 14 inches, it gets a bit more complicated. When I'm doing the cleanup, the finer sanding in around the letters, I actually use a bit of a Dremel-like tool. It's quite a fine, abrasive sanding tip. And I just kind of run it around the edges, smooths them out a little bit, gets a little burrs, and demonstrate real quick. This kind of smooths it out a bit. Alright, that is for the most part finished. Something I'm still going to do, I will still run some flame over this. The reason I do the flame even though I paint it is, do you see all these little wisps there? The flame just gets rid of those immediately. And what it does is it also rounds the letters over smoothly. See, I made a bit of a mistake there. This is where, you can see that line, that's where I joined the 2 pieces of paper. And when I was initially carving, I actually carved down there. I'm not going to bother with that though. I'm just going to leave it, see how it looks after it's painted. And that's that. I'm going to leave it as a square edge frame. I'll put a chamfer on it. So I'll have a couple different stain colors. Probably going to go for light oak, dark oak, and maybe antique pine. for these outside letters, or maybe just white, I'm not sure. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Alright, I've given that a light burn, just to show you. You see the, I mean really light, just touch it with the flame. And it gets most of those little crispies off. Little fine wisps of wood that can be quite annoying. The other thing it does is it gives the, if you're just doing a stain, it gives the outer edge of the letter a little bit of a more definition, just where that little bit of black is hit. Yeah, this is how it's looking. It's had one coat of dark oak, it's had one coat of walnut, it's had some black, and it's had a coat of white. So a couple more coats to go, get sanded a couple times, and we should be set. Looking pretty good though, I think. Still see the nice multi-layers, nice deep letters, and I think the clients will be happy. Well, hopefully. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, bye.